Yeah, good morning, everyone. Yeah, guys. So today, just I'll give you introduction regarding the third unit. In third unit, regarding Bayesian theorem. Okay, Bayesian networks. This is one more algorithm which we will be using in neural networks. Okay. So here you can see Bayesian reasoning provides a probabilistic approach to inference. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Bayesian provides probabilistic approach to inference. So what it is? If you see here, approach to inference. What is inference? Inference is nothing but we draw some conclusions out of the training examples. That is out of some data. That is called as inference. Example, I'll say Indian students are very smart and bright. So this is my statement. So what I do after observing 10 years data of Indian students with respect to various parameters, now I make a conclusion that Indian students are smart and bright. Okay, but what is the chance of making conclusion? What is probability? What I have to conclude? How much is my confidence? I have to get my conclusion. Okay. Uh, how much confusion? How much confidence I have to get conclusion? That probabilistic approach is given by Bayesian reason here. So what the conclusion I'm getting here? This conclusion I'm getting from probabilistic approach by using Bayesian reasoning. Okay, so that is Bayesian reasoning provides a probabilistic approach to inference. So when we are making conclusion or inferences from observed data or training data, with what probability I'm making the conclusion here. Okay, so we've made or we will take some decision. Okay, so we'll made some conclusions, we will made some decisions. So what are all these things? How we made this? How we make the conclusion? Okay, so what we do, we attach some confidence to the conclusion here. After we do some research or survey on different people in the India, then I made some conclusion that Indian students are very smart and bright. Okay, so after much research and after much survey, what is the probability we make the conclusion here? Okay, so after different survey, I made that Indian students are very smart and bright. This is my hypothesis. Okay, so here 90% Indian students are smart and bright. So I have 90% proof that students are smart and bright. So this is nothing but Bayesian reasoning provides probabilistic approach to inference. Next is probability. Probability is nothing but chance of occurrence of something or not that particular event occurring. Okay, example ఏంటి అంటే, if I switch on the switch, okay, the probability that fan will rotate. Or if you take the example of coin tossing or tossing the coin, okay, so what is the chance of head I may get? So that is nothing but 50%. So here I may get 50% heads, I may get 50% heads, tails. So 50% is nothing but 0.5 probability of getting heads. So that is nothing but chance of occurring something when I am doing some event or not occurring that particular event. What is the probability of not occurring that particular event? So this is nothing but probability. Okay, so here every time the probability will lies between 0 and 1. So if you see here in coin toss only, okay, so what is the chance of getting head here? That is 50%. So that is 0.5. So probability of getting heads is 0.5. So it is lying in between 0 and 1. Okay, so every time whatever the value which we get, that the probability lies in between 0 and 1. Next is inference. So what is inference here? That is nothing but getting some conclusion or statements which we make. That is called as inference. Next is hypothesis. What is hypothesis? It is a statement which made after observing all the data points or all the training examples under some experiment. So that is called as hypothesis. Okay, so that is about hypothesis. So here I want to give one example. Example is, I want to apply for loan. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll go to bank and apply for loan. Okay. So here I'll apply for loan here. Okay. So what I'll get, I'll be having H0 and HA. H0 is not getting the loan. HA is I'm getting the loan. Hypothesis 0 is not getting. HA is hypothesis is accurate. That is I'm getting loan. That is yes. Okay. So here, if I apply loan, so what the bank manager will do or bank people will do, he will check all the documents about the customer. If all the documents are okay, he will get the loan. If the documents are not correct, he will not get the loan. So this is the hypothesis where we are getting a particular hypothesis here. That is, customer may get loan is one hypothesis. Customer may not get loan. This is one more hypothesis. So likewise, we will be getting. So I'll be making some statement or some conclusion after observing all the data or all the training examples with some experiment. So this is about hypothesis. Next is prior probability. So what is prior probability? Prior probability is nothing but the truth related to a particular fact. That is nothing but prior probability. So for this I want to give one example. So nowadays it is the situation is related to COVID-19. Okay, the situation is COVID-19. So pandemic. So COVID-19 is pandemic. So what I'm doing, I'm observing all these pandemic seasons. Okay, observing all these pandemic seasons by the scientists. Okay, and they had made some statements or hypothesis. What is that? 90% population recovered from pandemic. So how did they made this hypothesis? So by collecting the data in favor of this particular hypothesis, and they made the statement here. Okay, so that is nothing but the truth, the correct value which is related to a particular fact, the truth value or truth which is related to a particular value, that is called as prior probability. So here it is based on the assumption that the quantities of interest are governed by probability distributions, and the optimal decisions can be made by reasoning about these probabilities together with observed data. So what I told you now, okay, by observing all the data, I make a probability that it may happen, it may not happen. So likewise, for each and every data or training example. It is important to machine learning because it provides a quantitative approach to weighing the evidence supporting alternative hypotheses. So what will happen here? We may not get one particular hypothesis. We may get different alternative hypotheses. Okay. So Bayesian reasoning provides the basis for learning algorithms that directly manipulate the probability. Okay, so for getting the correct hypothesis, we will be using Bayesian reasoning. Bayesian learning methods are relevant to our study of machine learning for two different reasons. So what is that? Bayesian learning algorithm calculates explicit probabilities for hypothesis. So by using Bayesian theorem, we'll be getting the probability for hypothesis. So how much is the data accurate? Okay, how much is correct? So that we can get by Bayesian learning method. So they provide a useful perspective for understanding many learning algorithms that will not explicitly manipulate the probability. So where we cannot manipulate, there we can manipulate by using Bayesian learning method for getting the output. So a basic familiarity with the Bayesian method is important to understanding and characterization of many algorithms in machine learning. So what are the features of Bayesian learning method? So each observed training example can incrementally decrease or increase the estimated probability that a hypothesis is correct. So we can observe training example that by using a Bayesian learning method, it can estimate a particular hypothesis is accurate. It is giving us the accurate hypothesis or not. Okay. Prior knowledge can be combined with observed data to determine the final probability of the hypothesis in Bayesian learning. Prior knowledge is provided by asserting a prior probability for each candidate hypothesis. So what is prior probability? Getting the truth. Okay. So here for each and every candidate hypothesis and applying the training example, each and every training example will be giving one hypothesis. So whether it is correct or not, by using Bayesian learning method, we can see that. A probability distribution over observed data for each possible hypothesis. Okay, and Bayesian methods can accommodate hypotheses that make probabilistic predictions. So it will predict what is the probability of getting that, whether it is 60%, 70%, 80%, so likewise. So new instances can be classified by combining the predictions of multiple hypotheses weighted by their probabilities. So by giving new instances also, it can classify the prediction. Okay. So what are the practical difficulties when we apply Bayesian method? The first one is they typically require initial knowledge of many probabilities. So if you are applying any particular data, okay, so the system or the model has to know about that particular data. Okay, so it should whether it is accurate or not, whether by the help of training example only we can develop a model. Okay, so initially if we give any knowledge to the system, it should know everything about the data here. Okay, significant computational cost required to determine the base optical hypothesis in the general case. So there will be computational cost will be there when we apply Bayesian method. Okay, so here these are the different notations which we will be using. P of H, PD, P of D, P of D by H, P of H by D. So these are the different terms which we will be using in Bayes theorem. So here is the Bayes theorem formula. So this is your Bayes theorem. It provides a way to calculate the posterior probability from the prior probability together with PD and P of D by H. So P of H by D is equal to P of D by H into P of H by P of D. So this is the Bayes theorem formula which we will be using. I don't know whether you remember this formula or not. This we have used in maths for getting the probability, for getting the event occurred. Okay. So here, maximum posterior hypothesis. What is maximum posterior hypothesis? In many learning scenarios, the learner considers some set of candidate hypothesis H and is interested in finding the most probable hypothesis. H belongs to capital H, given the observed data D. Any such maximum probable hypothesis is called a maximum posterior hypothesis map. So what is map here? So map ante enti anante, what is the good chance which are consistent with training example? So example enti anante ikkada hypothesis H1 undi, H2 undi, H3 undi. So ivanni enti ఒక అవుట్పుట్ వచ్చింది హైపోథసిస్ 1, ఇంకో అవుట్పుట్ వచ్చింది హైపోథసిస్ 2, ఇంకో అవుట్పుట్ వచ్చింది హైపోథసిస్. సో దీస్ ఆర్ ఆల్ బిలాంగ్ టు క్యాపిటల్ H. So which particular hypothesis will suit to the best with the training exam, whether H1 or H2 or H3? So that we have to find out. So this is called as MAP, maximum posterior hypothesis. వచ్చిన హైపోథసిస్లలోకి ఏది బెస్ట్ అని కనుక్కోవడానికి దాన్ని మ్యాప్ అంటాం. సో దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ as maximum posterior hypothesis. Okay, so this is enough in Bayes theorem. So guys, any doubts regarding anything, or you want something about myths or assignments or anything?
Ma'am, where should we submit if we complete assignments?
Yeah, I sent Google Classroom link. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
You submit.
And
You can submit it there.
Okay, ma'am.
Right? Any more?
Mid questions kind of, ma'am.
You want mid questions, huh?
Yes, ma'am. Like important questions if you can.
Shall I give you a question bank, or shall I ask you important questions? Shall I tell you the important questions?
Just tell us what are important.
What are important questions, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Assignments అన్నీ ఉన్నాయి అంటే టైం సరిగా లేదా?
సందీప్, నువ్వేనా అడిగేది?
Yes, ma'am.
So important questions, just I'll discuss. Define machine learning. Give detailed description with examples and useful applications of machine learning. So likewise you can get one question. Or next, 2 definitions of error while estimating the accuracy of hypothesis. Explain estimating error in binomial and normal distribution. Okay. So what is artificial neural network? Write brief notes on perceptron learning. Okay. Next, write the algorithm for backpropagation and explain how multi-layer networks using backpropagation algorithm will work. And we will be giving problems like explain candidate elimination algorithm. Okay, so you can present a case study of candidate elimination algorithm on a particular example data. So what we have discussed, enjoy sport అనే ఒకటి ఎగ్జాంపుల్ డిస్కస్ చేసినాం. అది మీరు క్యాండిడేట్ ఎలిమినేషన్ అల్గోరిథం తోటి సాల్వ్ చేయొచ్చు. నెక్స్ట్, డిస్కస్ బేస్ థియరమ్ అని with suitable example. So what we have discussed till now, so that you can explain. Okay, and the next, you can explain about gradient descent learning, or what is stochastic gradient descent learning, and what are the important features of well-posed learning. Ani, you can give one example to that. Okay, and you can get question like you can construct a decision tree by using ID3 algorithm. So ID3 algorithm lo nenu em cheppanu, tennis game play tennis ane example cheppanu nenu. Data set the play tennis data set తీసుకొని example cheppanu. So దానికి మీరు ID3 algorithm use చేసి you can get the solution. Or what is the difference between two hypotheses which are evaluated by using paired t-test అని. ఓకే, కంపేరింగ్ ద హైపోథసిస్ నేనే చెప్పాను. రెండు ఈక్వేషన్స్ ఉంటాయి, ఏది బెస్ట్ అంటే దానిలో T0 తోటి తీసుకునేది బెస్ట్ అని చెప్పాను నేను. ఆర్ describe in detail all the steps involved in designing a machine learning system. You can explain about brute force method in concept learning. So likewise, these are the different important questions.
Ma'am, these are like 10 or something questions, ma'am.
అవును, మేము 2-3 సెట్స్ ప్రిపేర్ చేసి ఎగ్జామినేషన్ బ్రాంచ్కి ఇచ్చాము. దానికి వాళ్ళు ఏ సెట్ ఇస్తారని మాకు ఏం తెలుస్తుంది చెప్పండి.
Okay, ma'am. True, correct.
ఓకే,
Okay, ma'am.
సో కంపల్సరీ వీ హ్యావ్ టు మేక్ 2-3 సెట్స్.
Okay, ma'am.
అయితే మ్యామ్ ఒకసారి క్వశ్చన్ బ్యాంక్ కి పంపించేస్తారా? లైక్ మేము కొన్ని అనుకున్నాం ఇన్ని చెప్పేసరికి నోట్ చేసుకోవాలి.
సరే, మళ్ళీ చెప్తాను, నోట్ చేసుకుంటారా?
క్వశ్చన్ బ్యాంక్ పంపించండి మ్యామ్, అయిపోయింది. క్వశ్చన్ బ్యాంక్ పంపించండి మ్యామ్, అయిపోయింది.
క్వశ్చన్ బ్యాంక్ లో చాలా ఉన్నాయి.
అచ్చా,
పంపిమంటే పంపిస్తాను.
వద్దు మ్యామ్, ఇప్పుడు ఏవైతే ఇంపార్టెంట్.
ఓకే, సో యూ కెన్ రైట్ ఇట్ డౌన్ వన్స్ అగైన్. Define machine learning and describe in detail with example and their applications. Sandeep, okay na? Anybody? Means who are
yes ma'am, note చేసుకుంటున్నాను చెప్పండి.
who are very fast in writing,
Writing,
they can write it down. Okay. ఇంకో క్వశ్చన్ ఏంటి అంటే, వాట్ ఈస్ ఆర్టిఫిషియల్ న్యూరల్ నెట్వర్క్? And write some brief notes on perceptron learning.
Ma'am, can you once repeat the second question?
Artificial neural networks.
Okay. Next question ఏంటంటే, explain two definitions of error while estimating the accuracy of hypothesis. Oh, you are typing in system, Sandeep.
yes ma'am, అంటే పెన్ పేపర్ మళ్ళీ ఇప్పుడు ఎత్తుకోవాలి
కదా. ఓకే, explain estimating error in binomial and normal distribution. సేమ్ క్వశ్చన్ లో ఇది.
ఓకే.
ఇంకో క్వశ్చన్ ఏంటంటే, write algorithm about back propagation. And explain how multi-layer networks using back propagation algorithm. ఓకే, రైట్. ఇంకో క్వశ్చన్ ఏంటంటే, ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ అబౌట్ క్యాండిడేట్ ఎలిమినేషన్ అల్గోరిథం. దాని గురించి రిలేటెడ్ ఒక ప్రాబ్లం ఉంది. ఏంటి ఆ ప్రాబ్లం? ఎంజాయ్ స్పోర్ట్స్ అని. ఆ ప్రాబ్లం గురించి మొత్తం క్యాండిడేట్ ఎలిమినేషన్ అల్గోరిథం చూస్తున్నాం. ఆ ప్రాబ్లంకి ఆ ప్రాబ్లం అంతా సాల్వ్ చేయాలి. ఓకే, నువ్వు జస్ట్ టైప్ చేయగానే వచ్చేస్తుంది నీకు క్యాండిడేట్ ఎలిమినేషన్ అల్గోరిథం విత్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఎంజాయ్ స్పోర్ట్స్ అంటే వచ్చేస్తుంది.
yes ma'am.
ఎందుకంటే ఆ టేబుల్ నేను చెప్పరాదు. ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ అబౌట్ బేస్ థియరమ్ విత్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్.
okay ma'am.
Explain about the gradient descent learning and stochastic gradient descent learning.
ఓకే.
ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్ క్వశ్చన్ ఏంటంటే ఫీచర్స్ ఆఫ్ వెల్ పోస్డ్ లెర్నింగ్ algorithm. Any example? Give any example.
వెల్ పోస్ట్ ఓకే.
Well posed algorithm, well posed learning algorithm
ఓకే.
with one example.
ఎస్.
Inko question, construct a decision tree by using ID3 algorithm. For play tennis dataset.
ఎస్.
ఓకే, ఆ టేబుల్ అనేది నీకు నువ్వు టైప్ చేయగానే వచ్చేస్తుంది. ఓకే,
ఓకే మ్యామ్.
just note it down that particular table. Next, how difference between hypotheses are evaluated using paired t-test.
Evaluated
Using paired t-test. And explain how learning algorithms are compared.
yes ma'am.
Okay. Describe the process of machine learning with diagram. And give detailed steps involved in designing a machine learning system.
Yes ma'am.
Okay. And the last question is explain about brute force based concept learning. Okay.
Yes ma'am.
Okay then. All the best for your exam.
Yes ma'am.
So
Thank you.
వీలైతే నేను ఆ రెండు టేబుల్స్ పంపిస్తాను.
Yes.
ఒకటి క్యాండిడేట్ ఎలిమినేషన్ ది ప్రాబ్లం, ఇంకోటి ID3 ప్రాబ్లం.
మ్యామ్ కరెక్షన్ ఎవరు చేస్తారు మ్యామ్? కరెక్షన్ ఎవరు చేస్తారు మ్యామ్?
నేనే చేస్తా, నా సబ్జెక్ట్ కాబట్టి.
అచ్చా ఠీక్.
ఓకే.
అంటే ఒకవేళ
Once again guys, don't leave any question, attempt all the questions. Okay, so if you attempt only, then I will give you marks. Attempt ante edo okati rasuru kaadu.
yes ma'am, రాసింది.
Okay, right guys, but again I am repeating it, don't leave any question.
Yes
Guys, for everyone. Okay, Sandeep, just forward this
yes ma'am, I'll forward it.
and just send me the attendance.
Yes ma'am.
Guys, any doubts regarding anything?
No, ma'am, got it. Thank you.
Right. Don't leave until and unless Sandeep tell you to leave, then only leave. Sandeepa, Paridiya,
Yes, ma'am,
anybody?
I'll take the attendance. There are only 47 people that are
I
visible
can-
on my phone.
हो गया
What?
अटेंडेंस हो गया ले लिया।
अरे हो गया, but मेरे को तो 47 ही दिख रहे हैं ना.
मेरे कने 51 है पूरे मिला के मैम తీసుకుని మ్యామ్ నెక్స్ట్ సెండ్ చేసేసి
Okay, right. Just tell the others who are not joining daily, just inform them
ఓకే మ్యామ్
and tell them to write the exams, all the exams, mid exams, and otherwise they'll lose the marks. And
Yes.
send them also the important questions what we have repeated now, what I have
Yes.
told you now. Okay,
yes ma'am.
right guys. Okay then, after meets we will meet again.
yes ma'am, thank you ma'am.
Right, bye. careful. అయిపోయింది.
Ma'am,
Yes, who is this?
Samala ma'am.